I'd like to call to order the Town of Ayer Select Board meeting for Tuesday, May 17th, 2022. This hearing of the Ayer Select Board will be held in person at the location provided on this notice. Members of the public are welcome to attend this in-person meeting. Please note that while an option for remote attendance and/or participation via Zoom is being provided as a courtesy to the public, the meeting/hearing will not be suspended or terminated if technological problems interrupt the virtual broadcast, unless otherwise required by law. Members of the public with particular interest in a specific item on this agenda should make plans for in-person versus virtual attendance accordingly. This meeting will be live on Zoom and Channel 8. The public may access the proceedings by joining Zoom, meeting ID number 897-9080-0793, or by calling 929-205-6099. For additional information about remote participation, please contact Carly Antonellis, the Assistant Town Manager, at atm@ayer.ma.us or 978-772-8220 extension 100 prior to the meeting. The first order of business will be the stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next, were there any changes to the agenda as it was presented?
I don't have any.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion that the agenda be approved as submitted.
I will second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. The agenda is approved as submitted. I did not see or have any announcements for this evening. So our next order of business will be the recognition of Andromeda 1, the robotics team.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I would like to invite the robotics team to please come up and stand off to the side of the table, please. So we're pleased to recognize Andromeda 1, Team 4905 from Ayer Shirley Regional High School. They've been here in the past. However, this past year has been the most successful season that they've had in their history. At the competition in Reading, Massachusetts, they won the Chairman's Award. However, they lost in the semifinals at that competition. At the Worcester Polytech competition, they had the #1 ranking after qualifications, a second place finish overall, and received the Quality Award. They went on to the New England Championships, where they qualified for playoffs, won the quarterfinals, however lost in the semifinals. Their season rankings were 9 out of 182 teams in New England, and they were one of 24 teams to qualify for the World Championships in Houston, Texas. At the World Championships, there were 474 teams from across the world. They rose to a ranking of 3rd at one point during the competition and finished 15th out of 75 teams within their division. And that is quite an accomplishment for this group of individuals. Congratulations. So the Ayer Select Board would like to give a certificate of recognition. This certificate is presented to Andromeda 1 robotics team, invaluable recognition of your most successful season in team history. Congratulations on ranking 9th out of 182 teams in New England and participating in the World Championships in Houston, Texas. On behalf of all the citizens in the town of Ayer, we congratulate you on your success. Congratulations.
I love your hair.
Congratulations. Congratulations. Congratulations.
We'll do a group photo, but we
Group
might have
photo?
to scoot that a little bit. Brendan?
I'll get it.
Like family photos of kids.
Scotty, you guys gonna
We'll go to the other side. Excuse me.
Good pictures. Thank you.
Anybody want to add anything from the team?
Thank you.
Excellent, thank you very much. Congratulations again.
Congratulations, everyone.
Hey Scott, I'll just add that our team is always very thankful for the support that we get from our town. Not every team has that, and it makes a big difference, so thank you.
Excellent, thank you, Maureen.
Congratulations, guys.
Excellent.
Thank you, Scott.
You're welcome.
That's nice to be able to do these things. I think we might have to do that. Thanks.
Did everything get fixed now?
All right, so we're still on point three now?
Yeah,
Well,
I don't know that we're gonna have slides.
all right.
Look like it. Doesn't look like it.
Okay.
Okay.
So the next item would be for public input, if there's anybody either online or in the audience. Sure. Sarah, if you don't mind, say your name and...
Sarah Withy, Groton Shirley Road.
Thank you.
This is kind of like out of left field, but I just have a point of information question about
Could you speak up a little bit?
Sure, sorry. About the fire that was happened at the Zodiac Apartments on Groton School Road, like back in March. I read in the newspaper that there was a working alarm, a non-working alarm in an apartment, and like I was just wondering like what happens now, because I have a very active mind, as you know. Like, has a town or state opened up a larger review of the apartment alarms? Like, do you have the authority, or is this like a case where the property owner, like it's a private property, and they kind of discipline themselves? You know what I mean? Like through insurance, and we don't necessarily know what happens. I just want a little closure for my thoughts. Like, thank you.
Yes, Chief Johnston, if you don't mind.
No, not a problem. So it is like a private residence. If you don't maintain your smoke detectors in your own home, or you take them down or take the battery out, it's the same thing. You're responsible to put them back up. But we have talked with the owner of the property, and he takes care of that so that when they first move in, they're assured that they have a working smoke detector, and it's up to the resident after that to maintain that.
Thank you.
Always check your batteries every time you change your clocks.
Absolutely. Well said.
All right. And then I do see that Pauline's iPad.
Good evening, Mr. Chair. Thank you. And sorry for the earlier snafu. I wish I knew how to put a pretty picture up there so you didn't have to look at the words. But if I can figure that out before next meeting, I will. How's that?
Perfect.
I have a simple question, I hope. I know Ms. Livingston referenced the Devon's Jurisdictional Committee issues a couple meetings ago. I went back to look at minutes and could not find what I was looking for. Maybe they're just not up on the website yet.
No.
But the Town of Harvard Select Board was going to meet tonight regarding that very issue. And I happened to have the opportunity to read a almost 7-page letter that the Harvard Devon's Jurisdictional Committee, the names of these things get more and more burdensome, submitted to the Select Board for discussion tonight, but that meeting was canceled. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here. I wonder if our town has a similar committee and has prepared a similar report. I know Scott and I worked on that many, many years ago when Vicksburg Square was an issue, and prior to that we had the to be or not to be committee, if you will, regarding the Devon's reorganization. So this is a third iteration of what will soon be the 40th year, 2033, of when jurisdiction returns to Ayer. If you all have not seen the Harvard report from their committee, I'd encourage you to read it. I found it fascinating and quite encompassing, and quite honestly, I didn't see anything particularly concerning about it. And if anything, I think Ayer and Harvard should try to get together again and come up with a plan that both towns can live with, because of course we are the two largest stakeholders of land, and so on. So I guess it's really not a question as much as a comment, but the question is, have we a committee and have we prepared such a report, and what are we doing forward? So I'm sorry, that's 3 questions. You could just do a short answer.
So, quick question, Pauline, on this report, are you talking about where they're saying like, you know, when we get it back, we'd have to take care of, you know, like mowing the lawn and the you know, the utilities and whatnot? Is that the report you're talking about?
No.
Okay, then I'm confused. So just to give an update though.
This report is dated April 7th, Janice.
I know, but the content, is that what the content is? Is about like what they would have to do? Anyway, let me just give a brief update since we last talked. When we last talked, I told you that the remaining members of the Devon's jurisdiction, DJFC, was going to send a letter to the Mass Development boss,
Secretary Keneally.
Okay.
Right.
As of right now, it does not look like that we have received any type of response. And the DEC has now sent a letter and asked to Mass Development asking the same thing. So as of right now, we still do not have a response. Now the rest of the committee is still working together as far as that goes, as far as the bigger committee. And then I'll now I know Scott had something that he wanted to add too.
Yeah. So Pauline, on the local committee, we were starting to ramp that up about 2 years ago, but then COVID hit, so that got put on the back burner. From the discussions we had a few meetings ago when this came up, we are going to move ahead with trying to get that committee put together, because there is a lot of information that we should start looking at. Basically to mirror what the Harvard committee is doing. I know that committee has been in place, I think, for going on 10 to 12 years now.
Well, this is the newer iteration, I think, too, but yeah.
So yeah, we want to have that same type of local committee and start looking at it from our perspective. And I think for the board here, when we had the news, we all agree that we should still continue to work on it and also work with the neighboring towns, even if Mass Development is not directly involved.
I'd still like to have, as I mentioned, see if we can get like Harvard and Shirley and all of us to have, one big meeting.
Mm-hmm.
If nothing else, just for the public to be able to hear us all at the same time. To say whatever it is that needs to be said.
And that was an action item too from our last meeting, 2 action items. Obviously Robert's out this week, but we're going to be reaching out to Harvard and Shirley to set up a meeting with their boards of selectmen, and then we were going to write our own letter to Mass Development from the town. Yeah. That's being worked on right now.
Yeah. So thank you for the question, Pauline, but it is still a hot issue.
Well, if I can conclude, I will forward each of you a copy of this. It's a 5-page letter, or 5-page report with a 1.5-page letter to Keneally expressing the town of Harvard's disappointment in him. But I will forward that all to you tomorrow. The proposed joint meetings with the selectmen of Ayer and Shirley, and ideally Harvard as well, I presume those will be open to the public?
Yes, that's the purpose of it. That's what my thought is that I would like us all to be sitting, all the boards be sitting in a room together and being able to talk to the public and answer questions to the public all at the same time. I think it's important after all these years to kind of have at least one big meeting, and not like the old J-Boss that Gary used to do. This would be a lot better. That's what I'm hoping. That's what I'm hoping, that this would be a lot better.
J-Boss wasn't just Ayer, it was all the 3 towns for the longest time.
Yes, I know, and I attended a couple with Gary. That was just, yeah.
And I know I am taking advantage of this Zoom link, and I truly, truly appreciate Scott and Robert's agreement to do this because it's impossible for me to hear when I'm in a group session like this. But one thing that I would like to just share is when people speak to the board, in past years, everybody always came to the table and was mic'd. It's extremely difficult to hear the public input from afar if nobody comes to the table and speaks on the mic. So I just share that. That's my burden to bear. I appreciate it, but I appreciate what you've done. Thank you so much.
Thank
So
you.
doesn't that mic work so that the Zoom people can hear it? Isn't that the purpose of that mic? Is it the people on Zoom?
Oh, does that
I
one go? That one
just-
might be for channel
Yeah, I don't,
TV.
Well,
I realize the TV is very important. We all realize the TV is very important, but as we've discussed, if the people in this room cannot hear, which we've had those problems, we need something that helps the people hear, you know? And I thought that's what the purpose of the mic was.
So that's good to. Thank you, Pauline. Okay. Any other public input? Okay. Moving on, our next item is from our treasurer and tax collector.
Are you okay if we?
Yes, please do approach.
That way we can be heard.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good.
So the town of Ayer just issued a ban for $4,292,565, and we received 3 good bids. And I believe I put the memo in your packet, but just to go over it again for the public. We got 3 competitive bids. Piper, Sandler and Company was the winning bidder with an average interest rate of 2.4%. The town of Ayer maintains an S&P AA+ bond rating issued in May of 2021, which is favorable primarily due to the town's good financial policies, strong management, and strong budget flexibility and liquidity. So the next step is to ask and request you guys to please vote on the ban and approve it, and then I have some documentation for you to sign.
Do you mind, Barbara, sorry, just for the benefit of anybody watching that
Of
might
course.
not know, can you just explain what the ban is for or the purpose of it?
And then what the acronym is?
So it's a bond anticipation note. So Ayer historically every other year does a bond anticipation note, and then the following year does a bond. It's a lot more work and more expensive to do a full bond issue. So by doing it this way, we reduce our costs to every other year. It brings the bond at a larger amount, so we get a better benefit, better bidders, better premiums. Do you have anything else?
That's about it.
Yes.
That's pretty good.
So this is a handful,
Concise.
all the articles, all the projects that are part of this particular borrowing or ban were article authorizations made at the prior annual town meeting that we are now ready to borrow for in this fiscal year.
Perfect, thank you.
So in order to make life easier, I know we don't like reading those big long votes. I included just a quick motion if someone wanted to read it, and then we can just have the clerk sign the vote. And I did 2 copies, one so you can put it with the meeting minutes and one that I can send to bond council. It just will save you, it's about 1.5 pages to read the vote.
Right,
otherwise.
I've always done it, so I'm just.
I know,
I'm surprised that we don't have to do it anymore.
So there have been some changes, partly with the Modernization Act of 2016, and then also since COVID, our bond council has reduced paperwork production. I don't know if you remember, we used to be here with this big printable stack.
yeah.
Now they only send us the pages that need signing.
Okay.
I don't have to present them at the meeting, and they're just simply on a PDF if anyone ever wants to view them, but we don't have to print them any longer. It saves postage, time, and it is stuff that they've changed in just the last
It
couple of
streamlines
years.
everything,
It does,
actually.
yeah.
All right. Strange.
Yeah, very.
I know, and it is
I'm
your
not-
choice if you choose you want to do it. I'm not going to prevent you.
No, I don't, I'm not that gung ho
We'll
about
put
it.
the entire motion into the minutes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what I did is, if he signs 2 copies, I'll give you one for the minutes and
Yeah.
one that I send over to bond council.
So, the good news is that everything is in the packet, and then of course will be in the meeting minutes. So
Yes.
this is the motion you want me to make?
Yes, please.
All right, I move that the select board adopt the enclosed vote regarding the May 10th, 2022 bond anticipation note sale for $4,292,550. The enclosed vote will be signed by the clerk and incorporated into the meeting minutes as presented in this meeting.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
So this is the packet. Anything that has pink, it requires all three of you, or at least a majority, to sign. The yellows are just for the clerk to
Yellow
sign.
clerk, pink
Yeah.
all of us.
Do you want me to give them to you now, or would
Yeah,
it
that's
be
fine.
easier
Yeah,
to
and
come
they
in?
can, work on them, and then if you wanna head out, I'll just hold them tonight, get them to you tomorrow.
Perfect.
Yep, no problem.
Thank you. Do you have any other questions?
All right, that was easy.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you
Should've
both.
brought the bucket.
Like
Appreciate it.
that. They
Thanks.
saw that we were gonna be doing that and I was getting my voice
you
ready.
ready for it, right?
Yeah, we're trying to keep things easier.
The modernization thing has really done some wonders for all of us, you know?
Oh, sure.
And you too, so it's been great.
Yeah, it
You're
has.
finally realizing what we're telling them is right.
Yes.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Good night.
All right.
Have a good night, everybody.
Thank you guys. You too.
And Mr. Chair, it looks like Cindy can run Dan's slides from upstairs. so-
Okay, perfect. And I don't have to admit anybody in here.
No, Cindy's
Yes,
on
no.
it, yeah.
Can stay seated. Okay, so our next agenda item is a presentation from our DPW director. Hey, Dan.
Hey, good evening,
Good
Mr.
evening.
Chair. How
How's
are you
everyone
doing? Great. Yeah, so I have two items. One is the town bridges update per the request of the select board. And Cindy, if you want to roll, I just put together a slide per bridge. So Barnum Road Bridge repairs, this project, town meeting just voted to provide $70,000 of additional funding for the design. So the current schedule for the Barnum Road Bridge repairs is we're drafting an engineering RFP now, which I would send out to engineering firms to get proposals May and June, and try to get a good price by having proposals sent in to us. And it'll consist of survey, design, and permitting for the repairs that are needed out there based on the most recent inspection that was done. And that should take till about the end of the year, I'm anticipating. The permitting for it requires MEPA, which takes a month or two. It requires Concom. We also need to have bridge review by Mass DOT, which will add another month or two. That's on top of just the survey and the design actual work. So it'd probably take a good 6 months. So the anticipation would be to line the project up for construction in 2023. And at the same time, be keeping an eye on the infrastructure monies, because this is a good project for that type of money to have this basically shovel ready to go forward. So that's the current status of the Barnum Road Bridge. And you can see on the map where it's located, just on Barnum Road, just off of the rotary toward our Grove Pond water treatment plant. Yeah, Cindy, you can go to the next slide. So this bridge, the Main Street Bridge, East Main Street Bridge, it's sometimes called. It's actually, the real name is the William P. Iverson Bridge. It's named after. And this bridge is downtown. If nobody knows, it's between the post office and the library. It's not town-owned. It's owned by Mass DOT, so they're responsible for any repairs or replacement needed. I had a discussion with the Assistant District 3 Bridge Engineer to see what Mass DOT is, what the status is of this bridge right now. And right now, oops, you can go back, Cindy. Uh-oh.
Not letting you drive anymore, Cindy.
See if she can get it back.
You can mime it out.
Want me? Yeah. All right. Just work on it, Cindy. So I do have notes in front of me. So the Main Street Bridge, the overall rating is satisfactory. There's nothing in critical condition with the bridge. The two major issues with it are the deck joints. So actually when you're driving over, you can kind of see the steel beam, that there's 2 joints on either end. Those have some issues with damage to one of them, or actually to both of them. And then the bridge seats, which is in the picture. Oh, there you go, Cindy. So you can see the bridge seat on that top picture there. So that's where the bridge actually sits on the abutment. So the steel member sits on the abutment, it's pinned to the abutment. It's hard to tell here, but there's significant concrete loss, spalling on those seats. So those are the 2 major issues with the bridge. The district engineer did say that he couldn't find record. He was going to look into it for me, that there are work orders for repairs out there, and I haven't heard back from him on that. It is a challenging one for them to work on because it does cross the railroad track, so you're dealing with the requirements of the railroad. And then I did note on the bottom, they per their last inspection, the wearing course is in fair condition, which I would say it's getting toward poor, because driving over it every day, I know which way to turn so I don't hit the bumps. And so yeah, the deck is made of steel girders, concrete, and then the wearing course. And as has happened in the past, there has been repairs to the deck for failures. And there is a photo. It's not on this presentation of an actual form that they put in between the steel girders to repair and replace concrete in the deck. So that's the current status. I don't have any of their work orders. They don't have any significant plans for the bridge, but that's the latest from MassDOT on their bridge. I'm calling it the Main Street Bridge, East Main Street Bridge. Cindy, you want to go to the next one? So we've beaten the West Main Street and Shirley Street bridges like a dead horse. No, we've talked about these a lot. So the West Main Street and Shirley Street bridges, my next steps, and I've worked with Robert on this, is I'm going to have a brainstorming session, and it's going to involve significant parties and also a bridge engineer who has the expertise in doing these kinds of projects. And by significant parties, I mean town departments, public safety, also state legislature, because with the available infrastructure monies out there, they'll be good for any funding we might be able to get. The bridge engineer as well, and just have a session of how we could go forward with both of these bridges to replace both of them. I know at our last meeting, or several meetings ago, we talked about moving forward with the West Main Street Bridge. So that is the goal, is to push that as fast as we can and look at funding in the fall town meeting. So that'll be part of the criteria as we go into this meeting. So that I'd hope to have early next month, and then from there be able to have a good path forward for both bridges. You can kind of see it on here. There's a table, a decision matrix that we put together when we originally looked at both bridges, and there was 4 different scenarios we had looked at. So we'll be doing exercises like this. What if we just close and totally detour West Main Street and don't do anything with Shirley Street? I think that's a no-go scenario, but we'll look at all the different scenarios, hash it out, look at funding, and look at what's the most advantageous alternative, and I could bring that back to the board at that time to present. So that's the status of the 3 bridges I think we wanted to talk about tonight. If you have any questions or want to talk more.
Yes.
Sure.
So as far as the Main Street Bridge, East Main Street Bridge, I would like as much as possible some pressure put on them, because I think it was pre-COVID, the last time I asked this question, and Mark said that when he contacted them, they were kind of like, oh yeah, there's a bridge out there.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand with COVID, which was, actually a perfect time to do roads and whatnot, I don't want the ball dropped, because that's what it sounded like before, is that the ball got dropped. Not on our end, because as you said, it's not ours.
Right.
Okay, on their end, and I just like a little pressure, as much as possible, that can be put on them to get them out here to fix this.
Will do, and it's I hadn't talked to the assistant district bridge engineer, but he's been very helpful. He was talking to me about our other bridges in town and about possible funding. So I think he'll be a good resource to utilize. And if I have to go elsewhere, I can. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you. Any other questions?
No other questions, thank you.
Okay, so the next item is the truck traffic discussion with the chiefs. Well, Deputy Chief, and I think Chief Gill is on the Zoom.
How you doing, Deputy? Very good, how are you? Good.
Thanks everyone for coming.
Thank you.
Yeah. Did you want me to lead off, or I don't know? The request was through you as the chair, Scott. Is this kind of a request that you had brought up? Do you want to?
Yeah. So the conversation that we had a while ago about joining there was a regional truck study and looking at the truck traffic that was going through town. My request was to see what we could do locally before we wait for that study to be conducted that could actually help minimize or mitigate some of the impact that the trucking is having on our town. So things such as limitations on like Jake brake usage, what the restrictions are around that. If we could put some zones in place for that. I've seen them like driving through Westford. There's a couple areas that have it. The other big one is just the speeding, particularly through downtown. We have all the trucks coming through with the cars going to auction. They're hauling 3, 4, 5, 6 cars coming over the bridge, probably 35, 40 miles an hour, and then into downtown with pedestrian traffic, a tight corridor with parking on each side. And then just anything else, I guess, that we would have in our arsenal that we could use to just really kind of make the roads a little bit safer for both cars and pedestrians and cyclists.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, so from kind of a DPW perspective, we can definitely look into calming techniques, and there are some cheap ones where we can just do, line painting, signage, speed feedback, things like that. And I think what I can do is work with Mass DOT and probably one of our traffic engineering consultants to sort of see what other towns have done, use their expertise to figure out what we might be able to do here to, put together some rather inexpensive but effective methods to tackle the calming. And I know one of the tools which we've tried to use, been somewhat successful, is a heavy commercial vehicle exclusion, and those are they're really hard to do. You're probably aware, but just so everyone knows, is any numbered route you can't have a truck exclusion on. So Main Street is a numbered route, so we can't do that. So we can look and see if there might be some area where that could help us, but that's also another option we've used in the past from an engineering DPW perspective. So those are some things that I could do from the DPW end to.
And I can speak from the police perspective. Again, Chief Gill is somewhat here. He is not able to attend, so I'll do my best in his shoes. So we had, prior to the meeting, had some of our patrol staff out doing radar assignments, not only to enforce the speed limits, but also to gather some information. So I've received numerous different times a day, different shifts. Obviously, there's some nights of traffic that are more congested, times a day that are more congested, but some of the other times we have arranged anywhere from 20 to 28 miles per hour, and anybody over, if into the 30s, they're being stopped and either and given some sort of documentation on that motor vehicle stop, whether or not it's been a citation, a warning, or a written warning. I can tell you that we have noticed with the enforcement prior to even, I know the last time I was here at the board, there's been numerous officers that have been enforcing the obviously traffic regulations, as well as noting some of the car carriers and some of the heavy duty trucks that have been through. We've noticed for whatever reason, we've noticed a decrease
in this traffic. And we also, off the record, have heard from other towns that some of the car carriers are no longer going through Ayer. So I don't have any scientific data on that, but I can just say that's what the word on the street is. So we'll continue to monitor traffic. We will continue to do our radar assignments, and clearly, like you said, pedestrian traffic. People are going to be out and about more. It's finally, well, today's spring or summer, depending on next weekend. But we're still good. We're going to be out and about, and we're going to have more people out and about. And we recognize the need for safety for our pedestrians, as well as just people, motoring public. So we will be mindful of that, and we'll continue to collect our data. And obviously, the conversation among us.
Yeah.
Anything more to add to that?
Well said. I think the Jake break part of it too. I think you see those signs in other communities, and if it would have come to fruition, as long as there was it would be for emergency vehicles are still able to use it, because it certainly is a safety feature on the vehicles. You know what I mean? It helps them break, and so I know a lot of places have exclusions for
I can look into
emergency
that
vehicles too. If they were to pursue that part
I
of it.
bring that one up just because it woke me up from a deep sleep on like 5 o'clock on a Saturday morning, with the windows closed about a couple months ago.
Yeah, some of them can be pretty loud. Yeah. But I'm curious to see. I know Dan, like once they get East Main done, like painted, I'd be curious to see if it slows people down a little.
Yeah, there will be
once it's all painted up. Yeah.
Right, and just thinking of the main street, it is very wide, perception-wise. When you look at it now, there's probably some simple things we can do just with paint or signage or other things too that are expensive.
I think that might be interesting to see what happens once it's done. As they come.
East Main. Yeah.
Yep.
Because there'll be 5 foot
Give
bike
us
lanes.
lines, we like to stay within the lines. Everybody wants to color within the lines.
Right now, without the lines, as we just put on our Facebook to remind everyone, it's nicely paved. That doesn't mean you still have to slow it down and keep it at a reasonable speed, especially when you're entering town.
When we had the minefield, people were.
Yeah, no, slowed everybody down. Slowed us all down, for sure. Chief Gill, was there anything else that you'd like to add, sir?
No. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Sorry I couldn't be there tonight. The deputy's doing a great job for me. The one thing I'd like to add is getting the appropriate data is the best for us. As you know, we don't have unlimited personnel to be on every road. So we're trying to figure out when the best times for us to be out there to do traffic enforcement in the downtown. And one of the things that we're updating a piece of our equipment right now, and that's going to allow us to identify when trucks are actually traveling through downtown and give us the speeds on those trucks, and that'll better help us enforce any type of speeding that we have down there. And then once we're done with it on that project, we can use that equipment in other areas of town as well.
Any other questions?
I guess the only comment is, so years ago I asked Mark for one of those speed signs that has the frowny face and the smiley face. So
Can we get that?
Yeah, just a suggestion. Just as you come over the bridge, that'd be perfect.
Yeah. Yeah. You can actually, the ones in Groton, surely you can program to have those.
Yeah. I'm not mad at you, I'm disappointed in you.
I encountered those, on a trip years ago in England, and going into the villages, everyone had it, and every frowny face, I did feel a little bit of shame.
Even worse if it was going.
Okay.
Thank you.
So thank you all very much.
Okay.
Thank you for the efforts on the enforcements, and thanks for all the information. Greatly appreciated.
Thank you for everything.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Okay, our next agenda item is town manager's report, which this evening will be given by Ms. Antonellis.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. And I'm my first solo select
I
board
know.
Doing great.
meeting in 8 years. So
No pressure.
No pressure. So Robert did include a memo in his packet, just with all the warrants that had been signed. Just a few other updates. The town, we did put out an RFP on Monday, May 9th for the senior center. We're looking for sites, as that's the biggest question around. Where are we going to put it? So we've put out an RFP, It closes June 10th. We've gotten some interest. I've emailed it out a bunch already, so we're hopeful to see what we get from that. Last Wednesday night, the Affordable Housing Trust and the Affordable Housing Committee heard a presentation from 65 Fitchburg Road, the 40B project. It's not, I'm trying to think of a good way to put it. It's kind of a little bit in limbo. They're looking for some support from the town financially, so Alicia and Alan have been working with them, as well as Janet Provodakis, to get that message out and to brief both boards. So that's ongoing. And then Chief Johnston is here, but I may steal his thunder that the pumper truck bid came in $100,000 less than we had budgeted for
Very nice.
at town meeting, so.
Yeah, so it looks like it'll be about like 70, there was some equipment to purchase, but it come in, we were able to secure a slot, the company kind of held it for us in January, so we avoided the increase in February, so.
Excellent.
nice.
Excellent.
Yep.
So obviously we'll just, borrow what we need, not the whole amount, so that was good news. Well received in the town manager's office, that's for sure. So that's that. And then, so an action item, we have the lease of land for the SBA communications. So over at DPW 25 Brook Street, where the big cell tower is, we've been leasing that piece of land for 20 years. And we have to go back out to lease, which we've done. So the town meeting authorized that in 2021 for a 20-year lease. Dan and I, Mark Wetzel, put together an RFP. We got 2 bidders, so it's kind of a weird one because it's our land, but SBA owns the tower and the infrastructure, so they obviously have the most, they're going to be probably the most competitive bidder because they don't want to take their equipment down and no one wants to put up a new tower. So we weren't expecting a lot of responses, but we did have to go back out to bid. We got another one which wasn't responsive, didn't meet any of the criteria that we had put out. So we're recommending that SBA Communications be awarded the lease. And then what will happen, Dan and I will meet with them. We'll have 30 days to negotiate a new lease, which we put in the RFP, so there'll be no surprises. It will be a 10-year lease. And then we have options for 2 5-year renewals after that. So we would just need a vote tonight from the select board to award the RFP to SBA Communications Corporation. And I can answer any questions too if you have, Dan.
Any questions?
I get just financially, I'll throw out there. So over 20 years, we've netted just under $1 million in revenue from the lease agreement. We had started, I want to say, like about $20,000 initially a year in lease payments. Got up to $42,000. So our minimum requirement was $45,000. So that will continue to escalate. And then instead of 20% of the third-party lessee fees, we'll get 25%. So it's a good deal for the town, and we're expecting about $1 million over 20 years again. So very happy with that. So we're looking for your approval on that RFP award.
I'll make a motion that the select board award the lease of land for wireless communications to SBA Communications Corporation as presented in the packet.
Seconded?
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
And then we have an update on the Fort Devens Day celebration, which Robert had emailed last week. We weren't expecting them to advertise so quick. We kind of had a plan to do that ourselves, but they beat us to the punch. So after the fireworks issue here in town, the select board had asked, what about Devens? Can we collaborate with area towns? Devens has the room. Robert and I met extensively with Jessica Strunken, the vice president over at Devens. A lot of lunches to nudge her along to maybe do a regional thing. So what happened was they were open to the idea, and then the fort wanted to bring back like a celebration day. Apparently they had done it years ago, So we looked at combining it. Alan, both chiefs have been really helpful. So what we're going to be a sponsor of the day, and it'll be a full day of activity. So 10 a.m. they're going to start. They're going to have airplane jumpers, right, Alan?
Silver Knights, parachuters.
Yeah.
Guys coming out of helicopters on ropes.
It's kind of an armed forces day?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. And then starting at 5, everything will move over to Rogers Field. And, you know, the fireworks display. The fire department was very helpful. Both Chief and Deputy Janiskevich met with the fire marshal's office. They did schematics of what size shells could be launched from where and how many people. So it's been kind of interesting planning it with Fort Devens and seeing their whole process on a federal level. I can appreciate what you probably go through every day at work. So
you have no idea.
Yeah. So we're happy to announce it's going to be August 20th over at Devens, and then Alan, there's a rain date, right?
Yeah, it'll be the next.
The next day, just in case.
Yeah. Excellent. This is exciting.
Yeah.
Very exciting.
And it's been well received regionally already, so I think it's going to be a good day. Anything else I'm missing?
It's going to be epic.
Epic.
It's going to be a good time.
Everyone that goes there will say, "Remember that day we did epic."
Is that what we're going to say?
That's it.
Epic. So that's it for the report
or
tonight.
are we going to be saying, remember when Alan said it was going to be epic?
That's all it takes.
Yeah, exactly. So that's it for the report. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
All right. Thank you.
Excellent. That was
Charlie.
very
Great
good.
job.
Very nice. Very nice.
All right.
Wait till Robert hears you got applauded.
I'll be fired. No. Just kidding.
All right. The next order of business, I don't think there was any new business or select board member questions.
No, none for this evening for me.
Okay. Then move on to approval of meeting minutes for April 19th and May 3rd.
I didn't have any.
And
I didn't see any
changes.
issues.
No.
So I'll make a motion that the select board approve the meeting minutes from April 19th, 2022 and May 3rd, 2022 as presented.
I will second.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. And both minutes are approved.
Thank you.
Okay. Now for the reorganization of the select board.
Well, you've done a wonderful job.
Thank you.
I don't know what happened just that second for the second there, but you've done a wonderful job. You first time in I don't know how many years, at least a decade, if not more, where as a chair you got to stay for 2 years.
Yeah.
So I can certainly appreciate everything that you've done over the last 2 years. I think you did a wonderful job carrying us through, but it's time for you
It
to
sure is.
to move on. Scott, you've been vice chair for 3 years.
Yes.
I've been clerk for 3 years. You were never vice chair.
No.
So, I don't know. I'll throw out a recommendation. First of all, I'll nominate myself as chair. Because everybody seemed to have gone silent. That's why
That's fine. I'm open to whatever reorganization.
I was going to say, did you want to let him be vice chair? Did you want to stay vice chair?
I'm happy to move to the clerkship.
Yeah, you don't have to read the ban anymore. Of course you're excited about it.
Absolutely.
That was what sealed
I
the deal.
had to do it for 3 years.
That's what sealed the deal, for sure. Yeah, that sounds, I'm open to whatever.
Okay.
Give me a
So-
second.
We can do this one motion. So I'll make a motion that we reorganize with Select Person Livingston as chair, Select Person Copeland as vice chair, and Select Person Hood as clerk.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right.
Excellent.
Motion passes.
We are reorganized.
We're
There
so
you go.
easy.
So with that, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I will second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And we are.